require. So what all things we require here? If you look at this corresponding table is what we want. What was there in this table? Like this, we need allocated resources we want, requested resources we want, total resource and free resource. Okay. So let me clarify about this example first, and further we'll go with the new example. All right. So you are able to see the full screen? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can see this one here. We have the allocated resources here. Okay. And these allocated resources we have P1, P2, P3, and P4. So these four are the process. Okay. What about these three are resources? So these were process and these were resources. Okay. So we have four process and then we have total three resources. Four process three matrix we got. All right. So the resources here, say for example, P1 have two resources confined to R1. Okay. Similarly, P2 have one resource confined to R2. Okay. Sorry, P1. Again, P1 have zero resource confined to R3. This is clear, right? So this way we have written 2, 1, 0. So 2, 1, 0. Okay. So these are already allocated. So all these are already allocated. Okay. So these are requested, which means you have a process here and you have a resource here. Okay. The resource is given to the process. The resource is given to the process. So this will comes like allocated. Okay. And the process here will request the resource. So these are requested. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? So if you look at this one here, okay, if you look at this one here at this point, we have the process one and corresponding resources have been highlighted. Correct. So these are allocated resources. As I told you, allocated means what? Allocated means from or to. From the resource we are given to process. Okay. Whereas this one here is requested. Requested resources here. This one is allocated resources. Similarly, this P1 is requesting for 2, 1, and 3. 2 number for R1, 1 for R2, and 3 for R3. So like this, it has requested. Okay. Now let us confine to this and see what is happening here. If you look at this corresponding portion, you look at this corresponding portion here. If you look at this one, 210 is same as this 210. All right. And 213, this also is same as 213. Whatever we have 213, and this one you see here 140. This also is 140. Correct. And this is blank here, and this 102. Same we have copied. The table what we have here allocated here and requested, same we have copied. Correct. Now let us see what will happen here. Let us see what will happen here. This is same as this. Whatever we have here and whatever we have here, we have exactly copied in this locations. So this is called as what? This is called as what? Initial state. So this is called as what? Initial state. Initial state we are trying to do. So allocated resources are done. Requested resource also has been computed. Correct. Allocation is done and request is done. Now, how you got this value here? How you got this value? How you got this? This one, how you got is the question. Any one of you can explain me how you got this? Free resources 001. How you got that number 001? Anyone?
हेलो
Hello.
हाँ गुड आफ्टरनून नहीं आया अभी तक मैं देखूंगा कॉल करके पूछूंगा हाँ काय जो केलं नाहीत म्हणा ऑफिसला
All right. Okay. So this example is what we are trying to see. Correct. Now, tell me how we got this one. So I'm asking you this one, free resources here, right? How this number is 001. So whereas this one and here this one both are same. So this resource we allocated here and this resource also be allocated here. This is same. So the question is how you got this free resources 001, but free resources here is 101, but here is 001. What is this? How you got that? Okay, there are total resources of 575. Okay, so how you got this 001 is the question. Any one of you? Anyone? So you look at this one here to understand this technique. Look at this here. Okay, so this position, you see this position here, whereas here you see. What's the difference you are observing here and here? What was the difference you are observing? So P3 actually allocated is 0. Okay, and we now are requesting for what? So we now requesting for one extra resource. So one resource is extra we are requesting for R1. Okay, so that's why, so this 1 will be minus from R1, so it will become 0. This corresponding R1 will be required 0, and defaultly you are not minusing anything, 0 directly, 1 we are not minusing anything, 1 directly. So 001 we got here. So this what 001 we have written in this one. Is this clear to you? It's very simple. At this position, at the position A, let us say the initial state. Okay, at this initial state, what is happening? The resource P3 is requested, is allocated. It's allocated, is allocated with resource R1. So that's what, if you have 0 here, this was replaced by 1. Okay, P3 is allocated with resource R1. In this case, if it's allocated with R1, what happens if we allocate with R1? So we need to subtract this number from free resource. From free resource. Okay, so free resource, from free resource is what, 101. We need to subtract this resource correspondingly. So this will become 0. This already default is 0. This is 1. So the free resource available here is 0. So is this first point clear? A part is clear to you all? A part clear? Any doubt in this? Hello? Is that clear? A part is clear to you? All right. So let us look at this one now, how this second portion will happen. Okay. So how this second portion will happen, let us see. Look at the second part. This one, you see how it will happen. This portion, how it will happen, let us see. Now, 210 is same. 210 is same. 131 is same. Here it is. Why it became 000? Because the moment we have completed these resources, this no longer should be allocated with the resources. So that's why here we made 000. Okay, and whereas here also you see 122, it has became 122, it has become 224. Why this became 224? You see this one at P4 we have 1, 2, 2. The resource allocation is this. this question 1, 2. Okay. Now we need to allocate. These are requested. Which are requested? 1, 0, 2 are requested. What is the availability here? Availability is 0, 0, 1. So 0, 0, 1. We cannot give as of now. But once P3 is completed, then the availability will increase from 0, 0, 1 to 0, 0, 1 will be added by 1, 1, 1. Correct? Because they are made free. So it becomes 1, 1 and 2. So 1, 1, 2 are available. Now what is that required? We require 1, 0, 2. So minus 1, minus 0, minus 2. So this will become 0. This should be 2 and this should be 0. Okay. Now see this one here. So 1, 2, 2. So 2 already we have taken here. 2. Here also 2 we have taken. So it should be 2. So it should be 2. So 0. Now already we have 0 resources here. Okay. 2 is required, 2 is available. So there's no problem. 2 is required, 2 is available, there is no problem. And so that's why we have an additional resource here 1. So this 1 coming up at this position. In this position, you look at this one. So what is the difference here? 1 got added to this. 1 got added to this and 2 got added to this. So which means, so this 2 is got added, so 0 it is. This 1 got added, 0 it is. But whereas here in this position we have 1 resource. That's why at this point we have what? We have 1, 0, 1, 0 pattern we have. Okay. Next, look at this position. So look at this position. What is the difference we have? So which means we finished P3 is done, P4 is done. So both of them will become 0. P3 is 0, P4 is 0. All right. Now both are 0. Let us assume like P1 is coming up. So you see 2 plus 2. How much it is? 4 plus 4. And this 1 plus 1, it is 2. Here. And this is 0 plus 3. So 3 we got here. Okay, which means we added 2, 1, 3. So before the number of resources available here is 0, 1, 0. And because of P4 completion, we got 2, 2 and 4 resources are made free. So it becomes 2, 3 and 4. So these are free resources. Now how many they have taken? They have taken 2, 1, 3 extra. So 2, 1, 3 were taken. So it becomes, subtract them, 0, 2 and 1. So that's what it is, 0, 2, 1 we got here. Is that clear? So this is how we are able to say that the number of free resources are 0, 2 and 1. Okay. In this way we are able to complete the third part. All right. Now let us look at the fourth part. So P1 is completed, P3 is completed and P4 is completed. All of them are completed the tasks. Correct. Now availability is what? 140 is what is available. 140. Now here what is availability? 0 to 1. So add that 0 to 1 with this 140, that become 1, 6 and 1. So this was available of free resource now. Okay. So how many it requires? So 1 plus 1, 2. It is 2 here. 3 plus 4, 7 are required. 7 are required here. And 1 and 0, it is 1. So 271 is a requirement. Okay. So actual availability is what? Sorry, actual availability is what? Look at this. So this many are free. This many are free. We need to not add this one. Sorry, we should not add this one. Sorry, here we should add this one because P1 is completed. So we should add 4, 2, 3, which is 4, 4, and 4. So this is what we got: 4, 4, and 4. Okay, free are 4, 4, and 4. These many are free. How many we need? Minus, we need 1. This one now. 1, 4, and 0. So if you add them, subtract this here, it will be 3, 0, and it will be 4. So that's what you see this one here. 304 is what is written here. And this P1, P3 and P4 completely are 0. Next iteration, this also will become 0. So this way we are able to see that. Now any of this case we have experienced the blockage. Any of this case we have experienced the blockage of any of the case we have experienced the blockage of this? No, right? We are not experienced the blockage of this one anywhere. So this corresponding algorithm does not have detected any of the deadlock. Okay, so we can say that the deadlock is not detected in this case. All right. So that's what about deadlock detection. Now what you can do is, in this manner you can take your own example and try to find out what will happen, whether we got deadlock or not. You need to detect it from that. Okay, so that's how we can able to detect the deadlock. All right, is that clear? Is that clear to you? Yes or no? Any questions on that deadlock detection algorithm? Is that clear? Next, so we are trying to see the deadlock resolution. How resolution means what? Okay, we experience deadlock. How we are going to clear that? So this topic is deadlock resolution we are trying to see. So this deadlock resolution we are trying to do for a set of deadlocked process. Let us say we have a process P1, process P2, process P3, like this. These many have deadlocks, let us say. Out of the process from P1 up to P7, these out of these many process, so these three processes got struck. Okay, this resolution we can able to do for the set of deadlocks. Okay, so D is what? D is the breaking of deadlock. So D is the breaking of deadlock. So we can able to break this deadlock. Okay, why we need to break the deadlock? To make sure that programs from some process in D. D is the breaking of deadlock. We need to clear that. Let us say this set of deadlocks happened in this process. Out of these many number of process, we need to break the deadlock. Any of this, let us say if you break the deadlock here, then this P1 can be free or P3 can be free. If three of them have got deadlock, we have to move on. We have to clear the deadlock. Any of the process has to be cleared unless it cannot be computed. Okay. So how to achieve this deadlock resolution? So we can abort. We can abort one or more process in D. So let us say what is D? D is the set of the process. So let us say P1, P2, and P3. So in these three process, we have detected the deadlock out of, let us say, out of process P1, P2, and up to so on P7. Let us say assume that we have 7 processes here. Out of the 7 processes, all are working fine. The process P1, P2, and P3 have been detected the deadlock. Now, in order to resolve this, in order to do the resolution for this, we need to achieve this resolution by aborting. We can abort any of the process. Let us say P1 we can abort, or P2 we can abort, or P3 we can abort. To help, let us say P1 we have aborted. It will help P2 and P3. So one of them will drop down and see that whether that corresponding resources can be allocated to others. So this is the complete idea what we have. Okay, now each abort process is called as a victim. Let's say out of this set of process P1, P2, and P3, okay, this P2 is been aborted. So the victim is P2 in this example. Whichever we are trying to abort, that is called as a victim. Okay, how do you choose the victim? Like out of P1, P2, P3, on what basis can you tell, or what basis you can able to choose that this has to be a victim? Any idea? So how to do that? So choice of victim must be using criteria such as process priority. So based on this process priority technique, we should abort. We cannot abort simply, I don't want P1, I don't want P2, I don't want P3. Like this, we cannot do. We need to do that by using the process priority. With the help of this one, we can able to abort this corresponding process. Okay. Now let us see the example here in this one. So there is a process P1, process P2, P3, P4. There are 4 processes here. Okay. Now, so where is the deadlock in this? You see deadlock here it is, because see this is making a cyclic loop in this manner. So R3 is given to P1, P1 is given to R1, R1 is given to P3, P3 to R2, R2 to P4, P4 to R3. And again, this is continuous. It's like it's going to continue from like this. It will keep going. It will keep going in a cyclic fashion. As we have discussed here, when we have this cyclic process, we will have a probability of a deadlock. Okay, so which means this is the deadlock condition. So this corresponding example is your deadlock condition. Now what we did here to eliminate the deadlock, to resolve the deadlock, what we did, you see this portion here correspondingly. So exactly from this here, this portion of this P2, this actually here, this P2 should be available, right? This P2, this we have aborted. This is called as victim. This has been aborted. This has been aborted. That is called as a victim. So because of that, there is no deadlock now. Because of that, there is no deadlock. You see now there is no deadlock, right? So which one to take it out from that has to be taken care by using process priorities. So which one to take it first is the process priority, because this is making the chain loop. Let us say you start from any one of this. So P1 you start with, it's clear. Now P2. So P2 is making the process complicated. Let us say this we are aborting. The rest all process will be working fine. Okay. So this way, any like the priority based is, okay, we should delete the, or we should abort the corresponding process. So any doubts in this? Any doubts in this corresponding aspect, deadlock resolution? This one? Is it clear? So till now what we have seen, deadlock detection algorithm, we have seen, okay, and then we have seen deadlock resolution, and now we are trying to see deadlock prevention. Now we are trying to see which one, deadlock prevention. How to see that, how to prevent the deadlock. So how we have got this to conclusion, this like this we should do it. So we have 3 models here. See this one, the deadlock detection and resolution we already discussed, right? The next is the first one, deadlock detection and resolution. Second one is deadlock prevention, and third one is deadlock avoidance. So if out of this you see this deadlock detection and resolution, the first one we have discussed, and followed by that we have seen deadlock resolution. Okay, and after that we are trying to see, sorry, this is the first one, continuation. Now the second one is deadlock prevention. We need to prevent the deadlock. How do we prevent the deadlock? There are 4 conditions here. You can slightly zoom in at this portion and check at this. So zoom in at this part. First one is make the resource shareable. This one is make the resource preemptive and prevent hold and wait and prevent circular waits. So this way we are trying to prevent it. First one, you see the first one, A, make the resource shareable. We are not going to make any wait. The process P1 does not get blocked in the resource R1. You see this one here. Without this approach, if we are trying to use, what will happen? So the P1 is given to R1, R1 is given to Pj. So like this we gave. Now actually it is not given in this way, but is this correct? This in this approach, what we are trying to do, you see this one, resource 1 is given to P1, resource 1 is given to Pj. But practically, is that possible? We have only one resource here. If you see this one, only one bullet was available. In this case, only one bullet means what? Only one bullet means what? Only one of them can access it. So it's been given for both of them. Which one is going to access first? Let them access. Other one has to wait. Okay. Whereas in this case, it has to request, but this was given to other one. So this was causing the deadlock, which means Pi has given to Rj, the request. A resource 1 is given already the resource to PJ. It is not having the resource now. Before, we have a resource, but we are not able to use it. Now we have a resource, but we are given that to PI and PJ both. So this way we are sharing it. So now this resource, what we are trying to do here, you look this carefully. So look this carefully. You have only one resource here, only one resource here. So this corresponding one resource has to be shared among this one. So this one resource is now shared. Is now shared by the process Pi and Pj. So because of that, we are able to prevent it. So because of this sharing, the deadlock will never happen. So we can able to prevent this. So that's the first technique. First technique is what? By using the technique of shareable. If you make this resource, if this make this resource shareable, then the first problem is solved. All right. The first problem is solved. Now look at second one. So making resource preemptible, which means in this way we can not find any circular loops. You see this one here, resource K is given to process PI. Process PI is given to resource RI. So resource RI is given to something else. In this way, it is happening here in this way. So look at this one. This way, it is happening here. Because of this, what will happen? We are indirectly, knowingly, we are trying to do the circular loop. But whereas here there is no avoided by circular loop. The avoidance of circular loop is taken. This is given to this is given to this. Okay, so the circular loop is prevented. So now the resource, whatever we have here in R1, let us say, is preempted and allocated to PR. So this one. So what's the change we are trying to do here? So the resource what we have here, so this one, previously what we are doing in this way. Now we are trying to change that in this manner, which means we have made this resource preemptible. As the resource has become preemptible, now the circular, you see this one here, it's making like a circular loop. Like it will, if this was given back to someone else, let us say something PJ, and that is given back to the resource, it will be making a circular loop. Okay, so this circular loop is avoided in this fashion by using the concept of preemptible, so that no circular paths, so the resource is being preempted, and we are able to avoid this kind of deadlock prevention. So next is what? Third technique is what? So we have prevent the hold and wait. Hold and wait, why what we are trying to do, you see this one here. This resource was given to this. Okay, now we are not given it here. We are making that to wait. As we are given this to this immediately. Okay, so we have the problem. Now we are making holding it some time. The problem is solved. Like how is this solved? The process PI is either one, not permitted to block on resource PI, or two. You see this one here, this one, and this is two. See this carefully. The process PI is either one, not permitted to block on resource RI, either one. The process PI, this one, we are not able to permit here. Okay, or see, just I'll show you 1 second. Just look at this one here carefully. See, in this diagram, either we cut down here or we cut down here. In the first case, we have cut down here. So this process, the first case we have cut down this. There is no link here. Whereas in second case, you see this one, the link of this one is cut down. So which means we are doing one by one. We are not able to do it. We are not doing it simultaneously. Whereas if you do this one simultaneously here quickly, so it may form a chain loop or a circular loop. So in spite of doing in this process, we can do any of them. Either you do this one, you eliminate first, or you eliminate this one second. Any one of the options. You take this option or you choose this option. So in this process, we don't have any paths in that manner. So the path is being broken here for some time and the deadlock may not happen. The path is broken here for some time again. So the deadlock will never happen. So this is how the concept of deadlock prevention is happening by using hold and wait. We are holding it for some time and we are waiting it to complete this process. After completing of this process, then we initiate the next process so that the deadlock will never be detected. Is that clear? Is that clear to you? So any doubts in this so far?
No, sir. Understood, sir.
Yeah, fine. So next one, you see the next one, the last one. The last one is by using circular weights. So we are preventing the circular weights. How to prevent the circular weights? Circular means what? You see this one here. Anywhere it can start from. We cannot say it can start from here only, right? Let us say it is started from this point. Okay, it is given to the resource RK. RK resource is given to PJ. PJ process is requesting RI. RI process is given to PJ. So it is forming like a circular loop. In this manner, circular loop it is formed. Okay, we are forming a circular loop here from, let us say, from RK, okay, to PI. So that is forming like a circular loop. Correct. So this, because of circular loop we are trying to avoid, and see what is happening here. Circular loop, how we are avoiding. We are making any one of them. Either we are making PJ or we are making PI. In this case, we are making this PJ to wait. So the idea of this fourth technique is what? To prevent circular weight. So we should not create any circles like this. Because of the circular arrangement of fashion, we are getting a deadlock. Okay, somewhere at this, from some portion, it can be anywhere. This portion you cut down or this portion you cut down, so that will not form any circular fashion. Okay, in this case, for example, you see here the process PJ is not permitted. This process is not permitted to request resource RI. So here actually this process is requesting to RL or R1, let us say RI. This one we have break the chain. Okay, so as this process we are trying to break it here now. So this one is break here the connection, so it cannot able to form the circular loop. So what we have did in circular loop here, let us say, you see this, so this one we have break it here. Okay, so because of that we are able to prevent the deadlock. All right, so any doubts in this concept? Deadlock prevention. So the next class we will see how we are going to use all the resources together in order to prevent the deadlock, and we will see how further we can do deadlock avoidance. Okay, so let us continue from here again. So go through this example. This is one of the important example, operation of a deadlock, and how do we detect the deadlock. You take some random numbers, what you want here, whatever you want, you take the numbers. Some examples you take from old question papers even, and try to solve or try to find out whether we got a deadlock or not. After that, you see the concepts on deadlock resolution, and in the next class we'll continue with deadlock prevention. Okay, and further we have a few concepts: deadlock avoidance. Deadlock avoidance we have, right? So we'll see this algorithm also, how to get. That's it. That will be the end of the module 5. So let us understand it one by one. So next class we'll see the deadlock prevention. So any doubts in this?